What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Pro Real Estate Teams channel here on YouTube. My name is JJ Velador. I'm here with my co-host Jake Rockwell. Jake, say what's up to the people.
What's happening, everybody? Happy Saturday.
Happy Saturday at the time of this recording. So today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics in the real estate industry, and that is change. Change can be frightening for a lot of folks. Some people welcome it with open arms. They embrace change. They love change. Having an agile leadership, to me, is probably one of the most important things that you can have as a team leader in the real estate industry, because as we all know, when things are going great, there might be something right around the corner, some change coming up. But at the same time, when things are not going so good, you just got to keep, punching the clock every single day, because that change is the only constant in life. Would you agree, Jake?
Oh, absolutely. I actually love change, because generally change comes with opportunity comes with change, right? And so we make a lot of changes in life, and some people hate change, some people embrace it, some people love it, and so forth. But yeah, made a lot of changes over the years, not only with business but in life.
Absolutely. So let's jump into that conversation. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell for future episodes. Let's jump right in. What's going on, man? So let's talk a little bit about change. So what is your overall vision and we've already talked about change brings opportunity. So what is your overall outlook about change? And I know that you have in your office a change poster, and you glanced up that one time when you were recruiting me to the team, and you said, hey, change is a good thing, man. Change brings opportunity. So what are your thoughts around this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, we have to remember that things change, industries change, and we have to change along with them to stay relevant. Technology changes, so some people get stuck using the same technology forever, when making those changes sometimes are extremely difficult, especially for a lot of people involved using that software. But we have to embrace it, and we have to trust that process of change, as it's just natural. And I think one thing that we've said in our team meetings recently is, one thing that will stay constant is the fact that we're going to continue to change. And we just always do, and I think being agile and shifting with in our industry, a market shift or a change in team structure, or just anything, or in companies, just being prepared to make that change, getting excited behind that change, knowing that it's going to be tough at times to make those changes, but knowing that there's a reward at the end. There's something better at the end after making that change.
Yeah, absolutely. So you touched on tech changing. We've been in the business, or I've been in the business coming on 10 years. You're just over the hill 10 years. And we've probably seen 4, 5, 6 iterations of different CRM since I've been on the team with you here. Obviously, it's helped us sell over 500 homes, and we'll continue growing. But what is your thoughts on changing CRMs? Like, what is your mindset behind, when you're rolling with one CRM, because they're a large database, right? You probably have 15, 20,000 people in there, and you decide to switch it over. What is the thought process behind that when you get there?
Yeah, I mean, we've got 50,000 people in our database, and that's obviously grown over the last 10 years. And it's changing CRMs is probably one of the hardest changes in our industry as a team, especially when you have a lot of agents used to using that CRM. You start using one and you don't realize that, hey, there may be something better out there. And really, when it comes to CRMs, the best CRM out there is the one that you're willing to use. And our latest change to Follow Up Boss was mainly for that reason, that we wanted one that would make it much, much easier for the agents to use. And but it's a major task to try to change a CRM. We went through that change, beginning of the year, and we probably even lost a few agents over the change, because they couldn't handle the change, and they didn't want to do the things that were required of that change. And some of it had to do with a market shift, and agents didn't want to make the change of having to actually prospect either, because they were used to not prospecting and nurturing and doing follow-up, and that's the normal part of this business. It just, agents weren't used to that, and so that was a change for them, right? If they got into the industry a few years ago, they're like, oh, this is a great career, but it's not as easy as it was, a couple years ago. So that change is hard. It's getting everybody on board and really showing your team that the change is going to bring something bigger and better for them. And we don't make changes in CRMs for me or us as a team or as a company. We make the changes in our company for the agents so that they have more opportunities for success, whether Absolutely. They believe it or not, but.
And that's a part of what we're speaking on today, is navigating that change with confidence. We've talked about culture being the mindset of the leader that basically pushes out to the rest of management, support staff, and on throughout the agents, right? That's how we talked about culture a couple of videos back. If you haven't watched that, go ahead and click on the playlist. You'll be able to see that a few videos back where we talk about team culture. But when you talk about navigating change with confidence and the people that embrace that change with the follow-up boss CRM, what is their business looking like today? Have they grown? The people that didn't shy away from the change, that fully embraced it, dived into the system, asked questions, watched the videos, and fully immersed themselves with that change, how are a few of those agents looking like today in their business growth?
No question. Their businesses are improving. Some of our top agents, it's clear you can see the top agents that are closing transactions by basically looking in the CRM reports on who's doing the work, right? Who's following up with their people, who's updating the stages, putting in notes, and doing the things that you should do in any CRM, right? Not just follow boss, but any CRM. But yeah, the people that are embracing that change and jumping full in are generally going to have a much quicker turnaround into getting to normal with that change and being able to propel from there. Where you have people that fight the change, they don't watch the videos, the tutorials, they don't read my emails that I send with little 1 minute, videos on how to do something. And yet, a couple months later, they come back with, hey, how do I do this? Come on, man. And so it's, it gets hard, but the people that embrace change are going to have the highest level of success, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So you said something back a few thought processes back there where you said, we even lost some agents through the change of the CRM. Talking about loss, and I've seen this a lot with team leaders in the industry where they kind of get cemented in their ways. They have their top producer. Maybe that was the person, their buddy or cousin or family member, someone along the lines of that they brought on early onto the team. They built out the structure. They still have the team leader, but then you have like the wingman, right? Or the wing woman, if you will. And you basically grew that up, and then you had your support staff, and everybody kind of started trickling in within those first 2 or 3 years. And then you lose a key player in there. And I've seen some people kind of take that hit and not really get back up and feel like they've lost a really big piece of their business. As a team leader, you've had a couple of those hits within this last, 10 plus years. How did you navigate that with confidence, knowing that you were going to be able to overcome that?
Over the last, obviously, in a lot of, even before being in the real estate business, I've had businesses where you lose key personnel. And I mean, even with our business in the last year, we lost, a main manager, and we lost some of our top agents. When it comes to the agents, obviously, we're with an incredible company. And so we want to, and you look at like our top agents a year ago, 3 years ago, or even currently, most of them were all brand new agents at one point. So the fact is, if you're doing a good job as a team or a team leader, you got more top agents coming. They just keep coming, right? Because if you're helping them succeed, genuinely helping them get to where they want to get, they're going to be a top agent. And so, yeah, we've lost some top agents that, and so they, obviously those sales go away, or they're, not necessarily, it's more of like their personal transactions, the transactions that they bring to the table from their sphere that they generate. But we still have our main flow of business coming into the company, and that gets obviously sourced out to the agents that are with the company at the time. But losing those top agents, we try to make that a positive change, a positive thing for those agents. I want them to succeed. If they want to go out and build a team like we've got, I want to help them. I want to help them succeed in whatever they're trying to accomplish. So we don't, cut that off by any means. We're still a part of the same organization, the same community per se. And so that kind of change is fine. I think the key for us was making sure that when we lose a key or a couple top agents, that our business isn't affected financially. And the way we do that is just kind of control our lead flow and control how we help our agents find success. And one of the changes we made this year was to really go back to an ISA model, so that way we had control over the follow-up that needed to be done. When the market shifted and there was not as much follow-up happening because agents weren't used to that, it was putting someone in place that would make sure that follow-up happened. And so that was a major change that we made that is really starting to prove to be highly successful. But losing top staff management, we lost a top manager earlier this year, and it's more of a hurt, a blow to the culture, because the agents see that, the other team members see that, and they think that something's wrong. And I have to, as a team leader, as a leader, we have to remind those agents that, hey, we are still the company we've always been. There will always people that come and go, but we are still who we are at our core. And I'll remind people that, hey, 10 years ago, it was just me. So we're still going to be fine. And we put people in place. And luckily in that situation, we hired within and promoted, and that person's doing awesome. So it's just a matter of keeping calm, reassuring others that things are going to be good, and that we're going to continue to grow and continue to do what we've set out to do.
That's interesting that you say that with a blow to the culture, but hiring within, there's almost a parallel there, and then embracing change, bringing opportunity. As we're bringing this conversation a little bit full circle, everything you just said, as you probably step back and look at it, all of that just came to fruition, right? You hired within. The person that was hired within was ready for that change, for the opportunity. That person got to step up. And it was Danny, right? Danny was the person that got to step up in this role, and she is flourishing in that role right now, taking on so many tasks, and it has been a life-changing experience for her and her family, but she was ready for that. And then when you're looking at an organizational standpoint, that's why change can be good. Obviously, yes, you want your company to be tight-knit, not lose those key players, but if you look at it as a whole and you're ready to embrace that change and you continue working hard, you never know when you're going to be next up for some kind of big position or to take on more lead flow because the top producer left and you're the new agent coming aboard. And that's where you said here, more top agents are coming, right? Some team leaders get stuck in that, like, oh, I lost my top agent, and and you're falling in that victim mentality where you're like, poor me, versus no, I made that person, right? That they played a part in it as well, as some skill sets, social, having just the social ability and being out there and all that. But your training, your systems, your mindset, your leadership, you almost help that agent propel them to the top. And if you take that mindset into your business, exactly what you just say here, I'll repeat it for the person that dozed off for a second, more top agents are coming. And if you build your team right, shameless plug, if you tune into the Pro Real Estate Team's YouTube channel, you build your team right, you listen to some of the concepts that we're sharing with you here, then you don't have to worry about if one of your top agents are leaving. When one of your top agents are leaving, your new agent's got to fill that spot, right?
Absolutely, and I think that yeah, I mean you're absolutely right. And with Danny, I mean it's been unbelievable. She wants more and more responsibility, and I'm like, here you go. It's been great. And with the top agents, I mean you can see new agents coming in. We have new agents joining monthly, our team, and you can see the ones that I can tell already some of the ones that are going to be top agents. They're just going. And then you look at some of our top agents now, and it's like they're just crushing it. But yeah, you just stay focused on the agents as a team leader, as a team. Our main focus, and we've said it before, is focused on the success of the agents, and everything else will follow. And to help with the financial side of things with the changes of agents, because if you lose a bunch of top agents and you have newer agents, then obviously your transaction count might be lower. And so the way we are mitigating some of that is through that ISA department. All leads are starting to flow a lot more through the ISA department, who's paid employees, to where their job is to follow up and contact and continue to follow up and create appointment opportunities for our agents. And agents love that, right? So they love the warm handoff, the warm lead. And that allows us as a company to kind of keep a pulse on our business, on the amount of transactions we're going to have. If we want to have more transactions, we just add more lead flow, more ISAs. There's always going to be an agent on the team that is ready for an appointment, for a listing appointment, a showing appointment or something. So, but there's not always going to be agents out there willing to make the calls and do the prospecting and so forth. So that was a big change for us, and I'm excited for it.
Yeah. So when we're talking about change, but also what is the opposite side of the coin here is consistency, right? So where do you as the team leader have to double down and say, no, we're going to keep this consistent. We're not going to change this. Or let's just go with the CRM, for instance, right? You're not changing CRMs every 6 months. So what is that mindset behind the consistency factor where we got to stick with this? And then the change factor, if we're just talking solely CRM, or if there's any other parallel that you want to draw to that conversation.
Yeah, I mean, I believe we're with the best CRM for us right now. I mean, there's a lot of great CRMs out there, so it's not just Follow Up Boss, but for us, for our team, I believe we have the best CRM. Now, that could obviously change. I believe we're with the best brokerage. Again, a little biased, but that could change, right? But yeah, so I mean, and some people, I mean, even when we made that change to our current brokerage 5 years ago, everything was going great, and people were like, why are we making this change? We're thriving doing what we're doing. And sometimes making a change isn't about fixing a problem, but it's to create that opportunity, right? Because fixing a problem creates an opportunity, but sometimes there's no problem, but you want to take advantage of an opportunity. And that was what that change was. But I'm a big fan of giving something a try. If we make a change, I want to be consistent with using that. Just like when I got into real estate 10 years ago, I wanted to give it my all and be consistent for 6 months to 12 months to see if it would work, for me, see if I could find success. And obviously it did, but I knew that it wasn't because if I didn't make it, it wouldn't have been because I didn't try. But recently we had a lead generation company that we partnered with, or that we hired for lead generation. And it was short-lived because we found out fairly quick that it wasn't the right fit for us. And so we made that change, and we're in the middle of halting that now. And I'm trying not to make a big deal about it with the agents, so that it just kind of, and I have replacement, situation happening to make it easy. But yeah, consistency is key, obviously, in a lot of different areas. But when there's an opportunity, or there's something that needs to be changed, then I like to rip the Band-Aid off and go.
Yeah, absolutely. And as far as the consistency portion goes, what's the number one thing that we got to be doing? Got to be talking to people, right? We got to be talking to people. There's that people say, oh, the internet or Chat GPT or all this is going to wipe us out. Zillow's as long people want to talk to people, That's this business is always going to be about a handshake and looking someone in the eyes and trusting that person has your best interest in mind, right?
Yeah, and yeah, absolutely. We try to tell explain to our agents that you should be waking up every day, and with the main goal in mind is to have real estate related conversations. And there's only so many ways you can do that, verbally, tapping people on shoulders, calls, open house, there's nothing's changed that way, right? And so it's just being consistent with that and not giving up early. A lot of agents will prospect and give up in a few months, and that's just a couple months too early. And because that follow-up really is 6 months plus, and if you do it now, in 6 months from now, your business will be good. But if you ever take a stall, or if you ever stop being consistent, then you're going to have that same inconsistent business at some point, 6 months, 12 months down the road. So absolutely.
Yep, that real estate roller coaster.
Yeah.
Many agents have been through it. All right, well, that's a wrap for today. Is there anything else that you kind of want to share with people on the topic of, having an agile business through leadership, through the lens of leadership for team leaders out there?
No, I think that, obviously I'm constantly looking at what other large teams are doing as a teams, teams that are bigger than who we are and who we want to become. And so I'm always looking at what others are doing to see if there's some form of change that could be made to help our business. Again, I don't believe making changes nonstop is the way to go. You have to make strategic changes. Sometimes you have to make quick changes to deal with issues and problems. But when there's an opportunity, there's a lot of bells and whistles, and there's a lot of shiny objects out there. And so making changes in your software or lead gen, do some research before making the change. Really plan out the change, weigh out the pluses and minuses, and make sure. And then really you have to take risk. If you want rewarded, you got to take some risk. And sometimes you're going to make a change that wasn't the right change. And being agile and having the ability to change back or change again during that is what's needed. So
absolutely, that's well said. I appreciate it. And if anybody wants to get a hold of us, how do they get a hold of us on this channel?
Yeah, I think click our link or hit the contact us button, give us a call. We're happy to sit down with anybody, any other team leaders out there that are looking to pick our brain or collaborate a little bit with what we're doing and how we're doing it. Absolutely love to share with others and help other teams thrive. So get a hold of us.
That's right. All right. Till next time. See you guys.
See ya.